Hey everybody, I'm Kate Conroy,
Vinny Vitello.
and this is Other People's Business, which is the podcast from the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. We release a new episode every other Wednesday-ish, so be on the lookout for that. Shout out to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, and they are the official sponsor of this show. So check them out if you need some updated coverage.
Awesome. Just a housekeeping matter, too, before we get this train rolling. This podcast is available just about anywhere you can get a podcast. That's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon's TuneIn. We even throw these things up on YouTube if you'd rather watch than listen. But no matter how you check the show out, give it some love. Give it that like. Give it that comment. Give it that 5-star review. You know, when we're taping this right now, Halloween is coming up. Get yourself a pair of glasses, a cup, a nice tie, and a button-up shirt. Go to your next Halloween party or cosplay event of choice as the OPB logo. I mean, hey, weirder things have been done.
That sounds amazing.
I know, right? But with all of that out of the way, our awesome guest today from the UCEDC is Adam Farrah. Adam, say hi, let the audience hear your voice.
Hello, everybody. Kate, Vinny, thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Happy to have you. All right, so today's icebreaker is, and I should really stop saying today's icebreaker because it's every day's icebreaker, really. Yeah. What are you currently binging? It can be books, movies, TV, food. I'm happy to go first unless one of you has...
you just go first. Get the ball rolling. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of a little show out of Ireland called Dairy Girls. Actually, it's out of Northern Ireland. It's about a group of 4 girls and 1 guy who are teenagers in the 90s during the Troubles in Northern Ireland. So it's a really turbulent time, but they're going through like the same teenage angst and silliness that a lot of teenagers go through. It came out like 5 or 6 years ago, and it only had 2 seasons, and then they just released a 3rd season like last week, and I went through it like that. It was phenomenal. I didn't love the ending. I'm still upset and annoyed about the ending, but the show itself, wonderful.
Pretend for a second that I don't know anything about the history of Northern Ireland. What were the Troubles?
Wow. You should be ashamed.
I'm half Irish. I know. But just pretend for a moment. What were the Troubles?
So there was a period of time in which, okay, so Northern Ireland is predominantly Protestant and Ireland is predominantly Catholic. And there's always been this push-pull over who's in charge, where, and why. And Northern Ireland is very closely affiliated with England. And so if you're Catholic living in Northern Ireland, you were a second-class citizen for a long time. And if you can imagine being a second-class citizen, it wasn't very fun and they didn't like it very much. So there was all kinds of, like, literally bombs going off in garbage cans. And militia, like, I don't know if I would say guerrilla warfare in the streets, but military checkpoints just on the school bus on the way to school. And one of the reasons that there aren't any mailboxes or garbage cans in a lot of England today is because so many of them were used as bomb, not disposals. You put a bomb in it and then it explodes and it kills a lot of like tourists. And yeah, they really mean it when they say the Troubles.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems like such a casual phrase for that. You know, like... Like when you say the Troubles, like the first thing I think of is like the period of 2016 when Carrie Fisher died to like the end of the pandemic as being like the Troubles, you know?
No,
that's kind of like we were massively inconvenienced enough that we would call it something. But like, were bombs going off in the street? No, you know?
Yeah.
Kate, I thought you were going to say there's another show in Ireland that my mom's been watching it, so I've been kind of catching parts of it, but it's about a bunch of sisters who are trying to figure out how to kill the husband of one of the sisters.
What?
He's like an awful guy. And, you know, the whole series is them coming up with ways to try to kill this guy, but none of them work, at least not so.
Is that on Apple TV?
It could very well be.
Yes, I'm aware of it, and I've been waiting for it to wrap the season so that I can binge it. I think it's actually called Bad Sisters.
Yes, Bad Sisters. I've caught 1 or 2 episodes, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I want to watch it. It's on my list.
Sick sort of way, which of course anything sick kind of appeals to me.
I'll definitely add it. I've been looking for something to watch ever since the other one that I did. Severance. Ever since I stopped watching Severance, I'm still on my free trial with iTunes or whatever you call that, Apple TV, but I haven't watched anything else since. So. Yeah.
Severance was going to be my answer because the conceptually it's intriguing, right? Being able to just leave everything at work and all that.
It's such a mind-blowing show,
Yeah, I'm still thinking about it because the scene where she takes the disc and she gets into the elevator, and the next, like within 1 second, the elevator doors open and the response to the disc is in her hand. I just keep thinking, like, when you leave work, often you need like the downtime. Your brain needs the rest, and presumably there would be no rest. Like, you're always at work. That would be so hard. Why would I still have trouble with that.
Yeah, it's flawed conceptually.
It is. And it was also kind of odd because you don't get any of like the experience or knowledge that you have outside of work or before work, to help you at work. You're basically like a baby at that point. Like, you are just beginning, so that seemed odd. But the story was so compelling, and the end, I mean, that season cliffhanger, oh my gosh, I would have given Apple money. Like, I would have paid them like $200 to just be like, can I start watching season 2 now? Like can you just make that happen?
I'm almost upset that I started it when I did. I wish I had started it when it was all finished, so I didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
But
then you would be deprived of this feeling all year.
I know.
Like,
Yeah. What's gonna happen? It's so good. All right, Vinny, what are you?
I've been doing Arrested Development for as long as I can remember now. Like, I feel like I've been watching Arrested Development since I was like 8 years old. Like, that's how long this has been going on. I don't know. The first 3 seasons went like lightning. And then I did season 4, and season 4 was like a weird revival year where like I don't know, they doubled the length of every episode, and people weren't around at the same time to film, so they just made every episode about one character. And that was so bad. I mean, I don't know, like, and so that took me forever to get through. And now I'm in season 5, which is like the second revival, and that's better. But I'm just like, I'm over it now. I want it to be done.
Yeah, Adam, did you watch Arrested Development?
No, never did. The other one I was going to throw out was Barry. I don't know if you've ever watched Barry.
Okay, so I got through the first, I want to say 2 seasons of Barry, and I was watching it with the wife, and then she kind of like quiet lost interest, and so I was like, hey, you want to watch another episode of Barry? And she's like, nah. And so I think I'm now at the point where I'm definitely going to have to like continue on with that without her, because there's only like one more season, I think. I don't think there's a lot of that, so.
No, but they're making season 4, I think, right now.
Yeah, Bill Hader's great.
He is. I like him. He's a good guy.
Cracks me up.
Like, I know him personally. You like how I just did that?
Billy.
Good guy. Good egg. I know him. All right. So, Adam, tell us what you do at UCEDC.
What do I do? So I'm the president here, and what we do at UCEDC, when you break it right down, is we help small businesses in New Jersey. We do that a number of different ways, financial assistance being the one thing that we're best known for. We do a lot of micro lending, or loans under $50,000, loans as small as $500, believe it or not. We will fund startups. We're big onto promoting the growth of small businesses through giving them capital. We do a lot of training of small businesses, both one-on-one and also group trainings, to supplement the lending and to actually help the businesses succeed so that they can repay their loans and hopefully grow. The other thing that we do is we help companies learn how to go after government contracts. So help them with their their marketing, so to speak. And those are kind of the 3 areas: the mentoring, the lending, and the government contracting assistance. We also have loans that do larger amounts as well. One program in particular that not enough people know about or take advantage of, and I won't get into the names of the programs because you won't remember, but there are programs out there where you can buy a building in which you're going to operate your business for as little as 10% down. Normally, if you go to a bank, you're going to have to save up 25 or 30%, and the terms and interest rates are very attractive, although they are going up, just like all rates are going up. So you're thinking about doing it, now's the time to get in before rates creep up too high. The good news is on the small loans at 50,000 and under, we're going to be keeping our rates pretty low. Our highest rates are probably going to be, under 8%, which is pretty good in this market.
I remember the first time I heard the phrase microloan, and I honestly, I didn't understand what that could possibly mean. And then it was actually Maureen Tynan,
Yep.
your predecessor, a fantastic lady who basically said, it is a loan. Like most businesses, if you want a loan from a bank, the minimum you're allowed to borrow is like 100,000 or 200. Like it's a lot. There's like a minimum, but there is no minimum with you guys. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, banks will lend smaller amounts, but they, tend to do it under, automated credit score-based products, which means you got to be pretty strong, in order to get one. And the market that we deal with is sometimes folks who have had a couple of blips on their credit, whose cash flow maybe isn't quite as strong, but these businesses are still very viable, and just kind of fall between the cracks, and that's kind of, where we fit in. We try to capture that. The problem for banks is, and banks do support us financially, but the issue with banks is the amount of time that it takes them to process $1 million deal is about the same amount of time it would take to do a $5,000 deal. So what are they going to pick? If they have to figure out where they're going to put their time and make the most money because they're in the business of making money, they're going to go after the big fish. So they, in turn support us. We have several banks on our board and other banks that, pump money into us so that we can go out and, help the markets that they're not equipped to handle. So
I love that.
Works out.
So when she says no minimum, is there really like could a business come in there and be like, we need $20?
500's about the
500, all right.
About the threshold. Yeah, we do a number of $500 loans each year.
And is it completely need based? Like, will you reject, a major, like I'm trying to ask, like how does a company come in and,
Yeah, there's credit available elsewhere rules and things like that that apply sometimes. But rule of thumb, if it's under $15,000 or $20,000, typically we can do it without having you been turned down by a bank, prior to coming in. We do a lot of co-lending with banks too, where a bank will do a portion of the project, but maybe for whatever reason there's parts of the project they don't want to fund, and they need someone else to cover the gap, or maybe there's not enough collateral to make the bank happy, so we'll take a lien behind the bank, take a little more risk or exposure, and fund the difference that way. So we get involved in projects like that as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so based this, okay, so this is a big question. So it's October. Based on the amount of business that you've done this year, how would you describe the state of New Jersey's economy? Or maybe that's too big a question. I don't know.
I'll tell you what my experience has been. Since COVID, our business, our lending at least, and our training for that matter, has practically doubled what it was the 3 years prior to that. We have had and I hate to say it out loud because I feel like I'm jinxing myself here, but we've had a very low default rate among our clients. I'd like to think that part of that is the mentoring and training that we give them to, stay afloat and help them operate, correctly. However, I will say that with lately, with inflation being what it is, we are starting to see some slow pays creep up. So we were talking about it the other day, trying to anticipate, what's to come. And the answer is no one really knows 100% for sure, but we are starting to see slow payments creep up. So hopefully it doesn't get worse, but that does worry me somewhat.
You mentioned COVID. How much did business boom at that point for you? Like, how much more was your phone ringing? During.
I am proud to say that we were the first organization, business lending organization that I'm aware of that responded to COVID in March of 2020. We rolled out our very first product, a 0% loan, $15,000, no collateral, no fees, no anything, just to help. My first thought was our current client base and how do we assist them. So I went to our board, said, listen, I want to throw out $500,000 of capital. We'll see how long it takes us to deploy it. We'll do these this 0% rate, make it an easy application online. and help our client base, and we'll start to advertise it and see what kind of response we get. Well, naive old me, I had no idea that we would be oversubscribed in 24 hours.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, how many minutes did it take?
Yeah, and we didn't really market it all that hard. Yeah, we just put it out to some of our partner organizations, and they blasted it out there, and my staff was ready to, ready to kill me. So I ended up, a couple of things happened. Ended up going back to the board, said, hey, we need more money. But we were also able to get the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, Bank of America, and Investors Bank to kick in dollars that would basically allow us to offer a 0% rate. So they basically brought down the interest rate to zero. That the interest that we would have received had we made these loans at a normal rate. So with that help, during the last 3 years almost now, we've put over $5 million in microloans on the street at $10,000 and $15,000 a clip. So we've done. We had a report that we just did this morning. I think it's like 365 loans or something like that for a little over $5 million. Which if you're a bank, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're a small nonprofit like us that was used to lending out $1.5 million or so a year tops, big jump. Everything doubled overnight. And,
sure. Did you how do I ask? Were you able to scale to handle that kind of volume?
Oh man, we are still working on getting up to scale. We still have a lot of manual processes in place. We have consultants that we've hired to go over our strategic planning, to actually look at all of our IT across the board. The problem or the issue that we have too is we have a lot of different grant sources that fund us. All of which have reporting requirements, have compliance requirements. So I have to spend a lot of time, with staff, dealing with that side of things. And that, that's before you get any business done. It's just, keeping your funders happy. And that's a huge money and, time suck. So we're, going through this process now to figure out how much through software that we can, automate, eliminate duplication of efforts, things like that. So we're gonna be continuing to improve our technology over the next year or so to be able to ramp up. I was at a conference last week in New York with other organizations such as like ours from across the country. We're all going through the same thing. We're all learning how to get into the fast lane, so to speak, so that we can help more businesses with less resources. And we're all going through that learning curve right now.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that your organization exists, because my goodness, I can't think of how many businesses would be worse off because you weren't around to fund important work. And I was going to be selfish. A lot of the restaurants that I love in your neighborhood,
Yep.
I've been on the receiving end. Right. I'm grateful you exist.
Yeah, no, and it's nice when a business owner walks through the door every once in a while just to say thank you. It happened even in the middle of COVID. I had people coming in. I had people coming by when we said we had a 0% loan and no fees. A lot of people just didn't believe it. They're familiar with banks, they're not familiar with economic development organizations. So people were walking in here just to make sure, we actually existed. They wanted to
like it wasn't a scam.
Yeah, no, because I'm pretty skeptical. I would have thought probably the same thing. I get stuff in the mail, and most of it you don't believe. There was a little bit of a credibility curve in the beginning, but when you're giving out cheap money or no cost money, people get hip pretty quick.
Yeah.
That was the best marketing that we could have ever had. Was good prices. The same thing happened during Sandy. We had a similar loan program, and it kind of put us on the map, because when people need help, they find you. You don't have to market all that hard.
That's true.
Forgive me if you already said this. I was just thinking then, like, if you have the 0%, where did you get the funding to scale up that much? Was it through grants that you guys got, or
part of it's through grants that we get through the U.S. Treasury Department? We also borrow directly from the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we have a pretty large line of funds with them. The timing was good in that we were actually fairly cash heavy right at the onset of COVID, and we were able to.
I was going to say, because if they were promising you money and you were promising them money and you didn't get yours, it would have been a whole problem. Yeah.
Now there were several rounds of borrowing through the federal government during the COVID years, and we managed the flow. And there were a couple times where we got a little low, but we stayed ahead of it.
Wow.
I could listen if I had an additional source of 0% funds, I could keep it going. But we've pretty much tapped that out. There's a few other fund sources that are still alive that are low interest for special opportunity zones, they're called. New Jersey, it's something that New Jersey EDA just put out that we're working with them on. So there are some 0% dollars left there, minimal, but still alive.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I think on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to do our lightning round.
Oh boy.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is now time for our lightning round, which today is brought to us by Greenbaum, Rose, Smith, and Davis LLP. Adam, are you ready?
I hope so.
All right, favorite pizza topping?
Oh, does it have to be just one?
No.
No.
Yeah,
You're ordering a pizza. What's on it?
Yeah, I tend to load it up. I got to go with the sausage,
Okay.
peppers, onions, mushrooms. That would probably be that's my
All right.
go-to.
Nice.
I've only recently started to appreciate what we'll call the works. Like, I grew up and that was just the most heinously disgusting thing I could possibly imagine. But, you try some place that does it well, and you're like, all right, I can see what you're going for here. So
I grew up in the Trenton area, so I'm all about pizza.
Nice.
What's your favorite place?
You know what I like now, which isn't in Trenton because I'm not down there all that much anymore. But I like Vic's and Bradley Beach. I don't know if you've ever had. It's been there forever. They make a good bar pie. Surprisingly good if you get a chance to go there. So
that's good to know. All right.
Yeah.
Greatest TV show ever made?
Oh God. It's going to sound cliche. I love The Sopranos. I love Breaking Bad.
Those are good ones.
Yeah, Breaking Bad. I always thought Gus Fring would have been able to make a great business class, management, class.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the best entrepreneur out there.
They should do it for comedy, like just
100%. I can't believe SNL never did a sketch where it's Gus Fring teaching a management class.
Yeah. I'm sure it's coming because he finds himself in everything these days. I'm sure there's going to be some point where he's on that show, and then
I hope so. He's funny.
Did he die on The Mandalorian? I don't think so, right? He's still out there, right? Maybe?
I believe he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about.
Great guy.
Right. Favorite movie?
Oh man. Jeez. I don't know if I have a favorite. I definitely have like a top, top 20.
What's the first thing that comes to mind,
God, it's going to sound stupid, but I was watching Talladega Nights the other night, and that movie, it's so stupid. It just cracks me up.
Bake.
Yeah. Now you see me, now you don't. Magic Man.
Yeah, I do that all the time, and nobody ever gets it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I was a big Napoleon Dynamite fan too, for whatever reason. I hated it the first like one or two times I saw it, then it just kind of grew on me. So I'm always.
All right, we're getting a genre here. I can, I go.
If it's dumb and silly, it's probably on my A list.
Sure.
I like it.
I have a bunch of friends who are obsessed with Napoleon Dynamite, and we wound up watching it like I don't even know how many times. I was really engaged like the first time, maybe halfway engaged the second time. This was in college, and like it would just always be on, and I was like, well, this is not a good enough movie to support more than 2 or 3 viewings. But hey, they loved it, you loved it. I can be wrong. It's okay.
It's goofy, and it just grew on me. I didn't like it the first time. I'm like, why am I watching this? But then it hooked me.
I actually turned it off the first time, and I never went back to it. I quit it.
Did you?
Yeah, I quit it.
You're probably better off.
I don't know. I gotta rewatch it because my supervisor, my boss, Bob Considine, makes references to that show that movie all the time, like just all the time.
That's crazy. Speaking of dumb, okay, off the rails just a tiny bit. Speaking of stupid, did you ever see the movie Bubba Hotep?
No.
Bruce Campbell. Hey, we have a guest.
Oh, hey, Chloe.
Hey.
Are you not feeling good? Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
Are you feeling not so good?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You got out of school. That's the good part.
Yeah, at least you got out of school. Bye-bye. So, Bubba Hotep is about Elvis, who switched places with an impersonator years and years ago and then missed his chance to switch back. So he's now an old man living in a Texas assisted living, and nobody believes that he's Elvis. And the assisted living is attacked by an Egyptian demon, and one of his resident friends is played by Ozzie Davis, who's a man who truly believes that he's JFK Jr. No, JFK, sorry. And so they team up, Elvis and JFK team up to get rid of the Egyptian demon from this nursing home. It is the dumbest, funniest, most ridiculous movie. I think you'd enjoy it.
Boy, the brainstorming session that led up to that,
Right?
must have been something. I can't imagine
I don't know.
without the aid of some other enhancements.
Pharmaceuticals, perhaps, I would
Yes,
think,
a lot
maybe.
of-
There's a soft spot in my heart for just about everything with Bruce Campbell in it. So yeah,
Same,
recommended.
same.
See, that sounds dumb, so I have to check it out.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it. All right, getting back on the rails. What is the most daring thing you've ever done?
Most daring thing I've ever done. I skinny dipped in Mexico.
Woo, that's daring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did it on a dare. Trying to think. I've done driven some race cars a few times. Where you go out and have like a track day.
Yeah.
Actually, behind me on the wall there is you can't really see it all that well, but it's me at Talladega. I got to drive there. It's funny. I just talked about Talladega Nights, and there's
Yeah, look at that.
yeah,
I'm
they let
impressed.
you go. I was doing like 175, 180. It was great. It was almost
Crazy.
like Parkway. So
All right, since we've started asking this question, I'm going to put you as the winner. Like, nobody previous to you now has answered something as good as skinny dipping in Mexico or racing in Talladega, so you win.
and
Yeah.
those are the ones I felt comfortable telling you about.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, the show has to be safe for work. Has to be.
Yeah. I got a
I can
reputation.
beep out whatever. I mean, that's all I-
All right. Favorite restaurant in New Jersey?
It's a small place. It's been there forever. It actually changed names.
Dino and Harry?
Dino and Harry's. Jeez, that's it. Great little neighborhood place with their porterhouse. If you want a good porterhouse, and it's not cheap, but oh man, is it great. And their sides are good too. So it's a nice little, Hoboken-ish establishment, and it's been there forever. It's great.
Hoboken-ish.
Yeah.
Hoboken-ish.
But it has that old world family, feel to it. The waiters and waitresses have all been there for probably like 30, 40 years each.
Wow.
I think
Wow.
they on the waterfront was partially filmed in that space too. There's a
That could have been a contender.
yeah, exactly.
Wait, what's the name of it again?
Dino and Harry's.
Dino and Harry's. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, next. Do you have kids?
I do. I have twin daughters. They are 25 years old.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Are they getting to be like so adult that you never see them anymore? Or are they still kind of around?
One of them totaled a car yesterday. So yeah, when they need money or there's a problem with the car, that's when I usually hear from them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like anything else. We tend to text more than we talk these days. It's just, I'll call, they won't answer. I'll text them, they'll answer right away. And I'm like, I just called you. Oh, I know. I was like, well, why didn't you answer? I was busy. But
If I could
yeah.
call AT&T and just have them disable the calling on my phone altogether, I would do it. Like, if I could just exclusively communicate with everyone through text, I'd be a happier person for it,
Yeah.
I'll have to check if that's actually something you can do. Like, if you can have a plan that is only text messaging and no minutes or whatever I don't know. We all
I mean,
went
you
through
could
that years
just
ago.
turn off the ringer. You could just turn off the ringer of your phone and not the text.
It needs to be where like somebody calls and it just, like you get that da-na-na, the number you have called, but if you text, it gets like right through.
That's
The caller
terrible.
you does not want to speak to you.
Yeah, exactly. Something even better like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could change your outgoing voice message
Caller
to.
reminds you to text him instead.
Yeah. I don't want to talk.
All right. Yankees, Mets, or Phillies?
Oh man, I'll tell you. Yeah, growing up in Trenton, you tend to be, you go with all the Philadelphia teams. So I got a soft spot for the Phillies. Got to go.
Nice.
Sure.
Very cool.
Are they still in it? I didn't watch, the last one, but yeah.
To be honest, I have not been
I
following.
have no idea.
Or the 160 or so before that either, but
Yeah, I'm not a huge sports guy. I follow a little bit of football. Yeah, I follow things that most people don't watch. I follow MMA, which I have no
Nice.
skills in MMA, but for whatever reason, I enjoy watching it. It's watching somebody else get hurt, not me. That's
I feel like it indicates a lot of pent-up rage. You just want to watch somebody else get pummeled.
that would be me. Yeah. That and, like my road rage, that actually makes a lot of sense.
All right.
You have to work. You have to suck it up all day and be, polite and cordial and all that. And you hit Route 22 and all hell breaks loose.
Don't I know it? I hate Route
I could
22.
sit and watch like a 45-minute YouTube video of just straight up knockouts. Like, they'll just play the whole medley of people just getting like kicked in the face, and then you just watch them collapse like a car, house of cards.
Sounds like one of my board meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got dark. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Furthest from New Jersey you've ever been?
The furthest from New Jersey I've ever been to Spain. I guess that would be technically the furthest I've been.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's respectable.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
Yeah.
you go skinny dipping there too?
No, but I did something else really illegal that I can't talk about.
Oh, not just illegal, but really illegal.
Wow. Really illegal. Really illegal for Spain or really illegal for America?
Anywhere.
See, if you're not in the
Anywhere.
States and nobody died, I can't imagine, like.
Dang.
Not dangerous. Not anything that would hurt anybody.
Of course. Just illegal.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll leave it right there to keep
Leave it there.
rated G.
So morning person or night owl? I think that's the next one, right?
Yep.
You know what? I can do both. I go back and forth. I do tend to wake up early. A lot of times I start my days probably around 5 o'clock. This is my normal wake up.
Wow.
Yeah, it just is. I just wake up. I rarely use an alarm.
Incredible.
I'm just amped and wired that I wake up and I'm like, oh, gotta go.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure movie, TV show, or band?
And yeah, I still go to concerts. I'm actually going to tomorrow night to Union County Arts Center celebrating Bowie. That's going to be cool. One of my favorite guitar
just
players.
A bunch of cover bands doing Bowie?
No, it's a bunch of different artists. Actually, Adrian Belew, who is a guitarist who actually toured with Bowie. He played for King Crimson. He does a lot of solo stuff. He's, I'm a fanboy. Followed him forever. So we're even doing the meet and greet, before the show. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty excited about that. I've met him a couple times before, but yeah, that's always fun. I always love going to a good show. Who else do I have? I'm into a lot of musicians that you probably wouldn't even know. Guitar players. I like Paul Gilbert, guys like that, and all the regular rock and roll. We mentioned Arrested Development. My musical interests were probably arrested back in my high school, college days, and haven't really progressed that much. I still same
That's
type
awesome.
of music. Yeah, that's what I play in the car when I'm going home.
I think it's pretty much that way for most people. Like you solidify around high school, college. I know after college, I still listen to like new stuff for the next like 5 years or so. And then after that, any new music I've gotten has been accidental. Like, you're watching something, they play it, and you're like, oh, that was cool. What was that? But I'm not really seeking it out at this point.
Same.
I'm going to see John Anderson, who does, was a singer for Yes. There's going to be a show in down at the Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood, and I think it's next April, but that's going to be a great show. People should check that one out if you can get tickets. That's good stuff. If you'd like to, yes.
All right, last but not least, right?
Yep, last but not least, how many cats is too many cats?
I would say if you're getting more than 2, you're starting to get into that cat lady,
Fair, that's fair. The last several people have said 1 cat is too many cats, and I have been mortally offended. So I'm glad that you did not say that. 2 is perfectly acceptable.
Only has the 2, right?
Correct. I currently only have 2. There was a time.
I was gonna say there was a time where it was more than that.
There was a time.
Were you almost a cat lady, Kate?
I was married at the time, so I don't know that it qualifies.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I was not the instigator for any of the cats. Like, I was just along for the ride. Somebody else was like, we should rescue all these cats, right? And I was like, oh. But then, how do you say, I did not have the heart to say no.
Not a dog person?
I was about to say, we just had our Women Business Leaders Forum, and there was a whole thing on how to say no. And Roseanne DeTorres, who we love on this show, answered that very simply with no. That's how you say no. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually am a dog person. I love dogs, but I've never had a schedule that would allow me to have a dog. I've always been like out early mornings, out late nights, and cats are just more self-sufficient,
Yeah, I get that. We have a Frenchie, and it's always a handoff. Like, are you working from home today, or you take care of it? And or I'm running home like at 5 because I got to walk the dog.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, that was the lightning round, which today was brought to us by Greenbaum, Rose, Smith & Davis, LLP. Thank you so much. Shout out to Greenbaum.
Okay. Adam, what's some advice you'd give to your younger self?
Ooh, relationships aside, probably just, it's going to sound, like something you would expect to hear, but probably save more money. Max out your 401k.
I don't think anybody's actually said that on the show yet, so that it seems like low-hanging fruit obvious, but I don't think anybody's done that one.
I wish I'd started earlier. I would tell anybody, max out your contributions and, start as early as you possibly can. It makes a huge difference down the road. That would be my number one thing that I would tell myself. And then there's a couple of bad purchases that I made over the years, a lot of them car related that, had I known, I would have told myself, boy, don't dump money into that tank. Though. Yeah, I was into like fixing up some old cars, and boy, you can spend a lot of money there and not have a whole lot to show for it after you're done. So.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Stupid stuff like that. Not too many regrets, to be honest.
Good advice.
You don't sound like somebody that would have them, like from the most daring thing you've ever done and the farthest you've ever been. It sounds like you've done some cool stuff.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking of other dangerous things. I used to be into scuba diving, but I never felt like that was all that dangerous.
No. Anything coming up you want to promote?
There's a couple of trainings that we do that we run twice a year that we started during COVID. Both of which are virtual training programs. One's called our virtual incubator program, where twice a year we take a group of about 10 to 12 businesses, and it's kind of a competitive application to join. And we target minority-owned businesses, LGBTQ businesses, veteran-owned businesses. We put them through like a 7 or it's really like an 8-week training course where they meet with us for about 3 hours in a classroom format, and then there's one-on-one mentoring and training in between. And we're going over the we're assessing their business, we're helping them with their marketing, with their budgeting, forecasting, that sort of stuff. At the end of the training, we actually working with some funders, provide them with what is basically a grant or a loan that they don't actually, it's in the form of a loan, but it's they don't have to pay it back under the condition that they continue to get so much additional free training from us. So pretty much a no-brainer for any business. You get free training, you get your payments forgiven. So that's a pretty it's getting traction. It's getting a lot of notice. We have another program called Entrepreneurship as a Second Chance, which is the similar type of format where we take folks who were previously incarcerated, who have a business background, who have some, that are entrepreneurial in nature, who want to launch their business, and we take them through the same type of, similar type of training program, also coupled with a forgivable loan, a small loan. For the virtual incubator, it's $5,000. For entrepreneurship as a second chance, it's $2,500 at the end of the loan. So it's kind of meant to be a little bit of seed capital to get them rolling, and moving in the right direction. And we've gotten a lot of support for that, and we've helped a lot of people, who were on the edge. With entrepreneurship as a second chance, it's always kind of blown my mind that when someone, commits a crime, pays their debt to society, you would think that would be the end of it, but it's not. You're trying to get a job, employment after that. Once you have that record, your sentence truly does not end. It basically stays with you for the rest of your life. And we thought that was just, unfair, and that, you have to come up with some ways to give folks, a leg up. The idea was born from that, and we're very proud of it. We don't see too many other folks doing anything like it. So, that's one of the things that we try to do is, identify needs that aren't being addressed or met, and coming up with innovative ways to attack it. And we're doing it a little bit at a time, but we're hoping that these things can scale up, or could be replicated and pulled off by other organizations as well down the road. That would be the ideal. If we could create a model that's truly perfect, and we're fine tuning it all the time. We learn something every time we do one of these trainings, and then we make adjustments. The biggest being more mentoring in between classes is the thing that we've noticed is always needed. But yeah, these are the kinds of things that we like to do, and we think it has the most impact, for folks. We really get to know our clients. It used to be decades ago when we'd make a loan, you make the loan, you maybe talk to the client once or twice a year, more often if they're not paying you, and keep it across and hope you get paid back. But now we're talking to them all the time. We're getting personal relationships so that people aren't afraid to pick up the phone and talk to our mentors, if just to talk about anything, and not feel that we're in a position where we're gonna not hurt them, that we're there to help them and keep them from trouble and work with them, and that's made a big difference.
Cool. So if somebody wants to take advantage of those, maybe get a loan that's bigger than $25 or whatever, how can they get a hold of you?
Best place to start is our website. So it's UCEDC.com. You can start there. We have pre-applications online. We have our calendar of events for all the trainings that I spoke about. Our Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which helps you learn how to go after government contracts. You can sign up there. Or you can also just call us, 908-527-1166, and just let us know what your needs are, and someone will actually call you back that day and speak with you. I know, hard to believe.
Imagine that.
Very cool.
And that's
fantastic.
We're very hands-on. That's how we work.
I love it. Thank you so much. I think that is our show. Thank you to our listeners, especially the subscribers. We really appreciate the support. Thank you to New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, the official sponsor of the show. They do home, auto, and workers' comp, so check them out. And finally, a big thank you to Adam Farrah, the president and CEO of UCEDC, for joining us today. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. All right, see you next time. Bye.